Yo, everybody, welcome to Basement Radio. I'm Jake.
I am Tyler, and sorry we had to cancel the last few episodes due to paint issues. But we are back on track and ready to go full steam into preseason football and the Olympics. I think we'll talk about a little bit today. But I think the first thing we want to talk about is other paint issues that the NFL has had. The Hall of Fame game.
the Hall of Fame game. Yeah, what happened?
So apparently the paint they put down, you couldn't even get cleats into the ground. And this field is from New Orleans Superdome. So it's a transferred AstroTurf
Okay.
from Superdome to Canton, Ohio. And it's a high school football stadium. But the the issue wasn't the field itself, but the paint that was laid down. And I guess a few players said it felt like concrete.
That's what I read too. That's what I read. So basically, I guess what happened was that they were trying to dry the paint, and they were heating it up, but because it's got rubber and heat,
Yeah,
basically melted the rubber and made it hard as a rock. And
correct. So
it was
in
just
the
unplayable.
two end zones and in the center of the field, it was basically playing on concrete. And I just, I understand them having to make the decision for player safety. I get that. But last year D'Angelo Williams said it was just as bad. So what changed from this year's ethical decision from last year? At Pittsburgh's kicker last year tore his ACL on the field in a preseason game. The most meaningfulest preseason game there is. It's basically a game to celebrate those who got into the Hall of Fame. And for fans to come out and see that have that experience. Well, their experience was they want to see football still. It's the first football game starting in the first season, or,
Kind of sets
for
the
the
tone
season.
for
Exactly.
for how the season's going to be, and it definitely, was not good on the NFL's side part at all because it doesn't start good. As a big
Absolutely.
organization, you don't want to like have your opening weekend and we gotta cancel it because we don't know how to do a field. That's uncalled for. That seriously they should have been.
It's a
In my opinion, though, that they do it in the same spot every year, right?
yeah.
And it's working for them. But the NFL is a multi-billion-dollar company. Why don't they just build this? I'm not saying build a huge stadium, like
But build something
build
similar.
something simple. You get 10, 11, 12,000 people
Hmm.
at that game a year? Or is it more?
I think it's roughly around there. I mean, it is a high school
Yeah.
stadium, but it is in Canton, Ohio. You can't really have a Hall of Fame game outside of Canton,
Well, and
Ohio.
that's what I'm saying.
So
But build
build
a
one.
stadium there. Uh, revamp the high school stadium that's already there. I'm sure that they have. I'm not 100% sure. I don't live in Canton. I haven't heard anything on the stadium, but it's just uncalled for that happened.
Well, like Randy Moss said, somebody better lose their job over this because it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable for the NFL, and it's unacceptable to not be prepared. This should have been done days before the game, not the day of.
Oh, it should
should-
have been done weeks in advance. The
Yeah.
field should have been prepped
It
like
should have been prepped.
a month ago.
Yeah, but you
Maybe
can't.
not. Maybe not
I
the
don't-
paint.
Yeah,
but
you can't really paint it, but they could have painted it a couple days before and would have been fine.
How many fields
And then
have
checked out the field. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think what they did is they really, it was unfair to the fans that went out of their way to drive or fly to this game, buy tickets for this game, and then have nothing to show for it. They got to watch they did some fan fest, but whatever. But the NFL is estimated to lose about $4 million on this mishap.
So to touch on that for a second, they said that they would refund tickets, but they wouldn't.
They're not going to refund
expenditures like hotels and flights.
hotels, flights, or anything that they bought at the stadium itself. It's all basically just the tickets to watch the game.
That I think is a little unnecessary. I mean, it's hard to say who's going to take advantage of the NFL to, say, oh well, I flew all the way from Colorado and stayed in, the Ritz or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
it's just it's something the NFL doesn't need to deal with. but on the same side, that is kind of unfortunate that they have to do the way that they have to do it. As far as just refunding the
Absolutely not.
tickets,
And I
but
agree. I
I think
agree.
they should throw something in and some sort of incentive, like
Yeah.
maybe refunded the tickets and then a ticket to replace that ticket in the regular season of your choice or something.
Would
Um,
you know, pay back the ticket and then give them an extra game ticket? Is that what you're
yeah.
saying?
So some more incentive than just we're not gonna we're just gonna refund the $75 or $100 fee that it was
Yeah.
ticket fee, but give me the $100 and then give me a nosebleed seat in my local team, wherever.
Give me something,
Give
something else
yeah
other than just my money back, because I spent a lot of money going out there and to
and
stay out there
yeah,
than just the ticket itself.
or like a gift card to the NFL shop or something.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
another thing I'm thinking is for some of these guys on the depth chart that are third, fourth string right now, this is an opportunity for them to go out there and show that they can play at the NFL speed. They can come out here and they compete, and they're competing for a job to move to stay on this team.
Yeah. Did they
And
reschedule the game?
that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
Are they going to reschedule the game? I haven't heard anything.
Well, rumor. Well, I shouldn't say it's rumor, but I thought I read something on the Packers saying that they were having the game tomorrow in Lambeau Field.
So they're gonna have Indianapolis come up to them
Yeah.
and move the game up
That's
there.
what I heard, but
Well,
I might have
let's do a
I
little
might have misread
research
that.
here. Let's see what we got. All
Just like a
right.
makeup game.
Well, I had the schedule up here because I wanted to see who was playing, see if I could get work off. But
Because they gotta do it, right? I mean, they
well,
got.
I would imagine so. But it looks like
Getting static in the mic
for
from
what?
your phone.
Oh, okay.
Getting static in the mic, yo.
Well, see, the Packers already play the Browns on the 12th. So, have you found anything that they might reschedule the game? Because I got nothing.
I got nothing either. So maybe they aren't redoing it.
Well, see, and to me, that's another unfair, like, for these players that are, this is their goal. And some of these players are not as fortunate as others. They have to work a little bit harder
Mm-hmm.
to make these teams. And
Well,
so this was one of their opportunities that they lost.
yeah, exactly. I mean, you get drafted into the pros, or you're at training camp to become a professional football player, and you get to
Absolutely.
play your first game. I mean, you dream about this as a little kid, and
Hmm.
now all of a sudden, because some idiot doesn't know how to paint a field,
Yeah.
that you don't get to play your very first game.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's very unfortunate for the fans, for some of these players, and overall for, football fans in general, because I was looking forward to watching the game.
Yeah.
We all look forward to football coming back, and we look forward to that first Hall of Fame game to come back and watch it. I mean, some people aren't as big as fans, and they don't watch it, but anytime football comes on, I want to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really looking forward, and I watch college football, so I like to see how these first round picks do, or these notable second to seventh round guys do. So I want to see what these guys can put up, and this was just a missed opportunity. Granted, we didn't have to wait too long because games start tomorrow, so that's a positive. But
Who is playing tomorrow?
a lot of teams, there's like 6 games on tomorrow.
Broncos are one of them, correct?
Broncos at Bears.
Um,
Let's see.
just to touch briefly one more on the field thing. Um, the NFL, how are they looking? How are they sitting right now for fans? I mean, obviously football's not going anywhere, but I mean, as far as you said, Deion Sanders said that somebody should be fired.
Randy Moss.
Randy Moss, my bad. I saw a Deion Sanders video on Facebook today. It just got me going. But Randy Moss said somebody should be fired. I mean, what needs to go into? What does the NFL need to do to make this not happen again?
A better preparation, like we were saying. You need to make sure if you want to paint the field, paint it a couple days before. And that way, if you have this problem again, you have time to fix it rather than trying to do it 30 minutes, 60 minutes before game time. You know, that way, you know, you have plenty of time. If you need to, you can let it settle. But painting it the day of and then fixing it 30 to 60 minutes before the game is unnecessary. So, more time in preparation. I know a lot goes into the Hall of Fame ceremony and the Hall of Fame weekend, but if they, I know they have the resources and they can make that work. So that would be my opinion, is to kind of go at it with a little bit more time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they need to make it right to the fans. Offering something
First, yep,
that we talked about, and then I think that they also need to
adjust how they prepare for this game.
yeah.
So,
It's preseason for the maintenance crews as well too, but they got to be on top of their A game as well.
absolutely, absolutely.
Moving into who's playing tomorrow.
We have 6 games going
Let's
on.
talk about those games a little bit.
All right, let's see. We got Redskins and Falcons, which will be
Redskins at Falcons.
yes, Redskins at Falcons, Buccaneers at Eagles, Saints at Patriots, Panthers versus Ravens at the Ravens, Jaguars at Jets, and Broncos at Bears. So a lot of interesting games tomorrow. Um, I think Tom Brady is allowed to
He'll
play in
play.
preseason games.
No, I think he's got.
I know he's suspended for the first
No,
4 weeks, but is he
right.
allowed?
I think he
think-
gets he
I
gets
think he
to
could-
play, but it's once regular season officially starts, then it's no go.
Okay.
Not even practice.
Let's
from
see.
what I'm told.
Another thing I wanted to reach out and see how the wide receivers that the Falcons do. The new wide receivers, Mohamed Sanu, um, Josh Norman against Julio Jones, maybe. And these are the first preseason games, so we might not see all the stars, and might see them for very little if we see them at all.
If you don't see those guys, you're probably pretty sure that you'll see them later on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
usually the stars play the second and third preseason games, and the first and the fourth games is when all the third and fourth stringers get all their touches. So, but let's talk about our hometown team here, our Broncos and Bears, because this has a little bit of a, I don't know, more of a personal vendetta, I guess, for some players. See, Danny Trevathan, he left the Broncos this year for the Bears.
I feel like
hi-
John
Greener-
Fox just taking
John Fox.
just taking our.
John Fox is there.
It's always
so-
good to get color.
Adam Gase was there, but now he's down in Miami.
Yeah.
So honestly, it's kind of new school versus old school, but our new school is kind of our old school with John Elway and Gary Kubiak, who are guys Bronco legends, and now John Fox and Danny Trevathan and all those guys. It's going to be quite a game, I think. But let's go into what's going on with the quarterback situation in Denver.
The quarterback situation. Mark Sanchez is getting the start.
And you got to kind of expect that. He's the veteran. He's been in the league for a little bit. So you kind of got to expect that.
You got to see what he's gonna do. He's new team. Basically, it's a new start for him. You got to put him in. Got to put him in the mix. He's got years of experience in the league. You got to, but you got to see how he's gonna work with your offense. So when you give him a contract like that, you got to. Of course, he's gonna.
Well, they traded for him. They didn't give him a contract.
Well,
they traded for him. So, and his contract's very minimum. So, that's nice. That helps the Broncos, and that's what's helped them actually
And Trevor
gain some
Siemian.
guys. So, but real quick, Mark Sanchez, first couple years in the league, took New York Jets team to the AFC Championship
Well,
back
that's
to
what I'm
back.
saying.
So, now that he's got a little bit more years under his belt, he's played, in this kind of like defensive system, defense first before. And I don't think he's actually had the talent that he does here in Denver than he did in New York as far as offensively. He didn't have a guy like Demarius Thomas. He had like Braylon Edwards who, yeah, he was good, but I still think DT is better. Emmanuel Sanders, you got guys like that, and then you got a solid run scheme that Gary Kubiak's incorporating this year, more so this year than last year, because Peyton Manning's gone. They don't need to feel the pressure to spread the offense out as much.
The like I said, you got to give him a chance. You can't tell how a quarterback's going to do it in practice, in training camp. You just, I mean, you can look at form and things like that, simple mechanics and stuff,
Yeah.
but you won't know how well he's going to mess with the playbook, how well he's going to mess with the offense. And like you said, the years of experience, it's a no brainer. Like, what coach is going to be like, oh, well, I'm going to start Trevor Simeon?
Good
He's only
point.
got a second year, but he backed up to well, he didn't even back up, but
He was third string last year.
yeah. But watching Simeon, though, I will say this: watching Simeon in the preseason last year, he was really solid,
He's got a strong arm. He's
really,
got a
really
strong arm.
solid. He
And this
meshes
is
well with the wide receivers, so on that aspect, I could see where there's a race.
obviously there's obviously
Um,
if it came down to this, Sanchez obviously hasn't pulled away from Simeon, and Simeon's been in the under Gary Kubiak for 2 years now, so he knows kind of the system. What Gary Kubiak, and this is kind of a new system for Mark Sanchez, so I can understand that, and it would be interesting to see if Trevor Simeon can go out there in the second quarter, because Mark Sanchez is playing the first quarter, Simeon second quarter, and then Lynch the second half. So it's going to be interesting to see if Simeon can get in there and sling the ball around a little bit.
what I think would be really interesting to see how both these, if they play well, what they can do different to have like a two quarterback option, kind of like Philip Rivers and Drew Brees back when they played for the Chargers. That they were, I would like to have two number ones instead of a one and a two. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but I mean that was Philip Rivers' rookie year for a little
Yeah,
bit.
but
Which I'm confused what you're saying.
what
You
I'm
want to
trying to
have
say,
them start like rotate in and out of the
yeah,
game?
yeah, kind of.
Well, I don't think Breeze and Rivers ever did
No, no,
that.
no. But I would like to see that. I would rather have two number ones than a one and a two. But I was just using Breeze and them as an example because they were two number ones.
Well,
But
they
we
have
have
the
the opportunity of
ability
two.
to be two number ones, yeah, but they never. Why would you rotate in and out?
But
Because
I'm,
you have
I'm not.
different quarterbacks, different timings with the
You're
quarterbacks.
losing focus of what I'm trying to tell you. I'd rather have two number one quarterbacks, the abilities where they both could
Well,
play
yeah,
number
no,
one,
no shit.
than number two, than a one and a two.
Oh, see, I thought you meant to like
No,
rotate in
not
and out,
rotate.
like.
But if they needed to, that they could.
Well, yeah, I mean that's what we had last year with Payne Manning and Brock
I wouldn't
Osweiler.
say Brock Osweiler was a number one. He
He
played
helped,
well.
yeah, he did. So obviously he was. He was good enough to be a number one and get us to the playoffs.
I just like that. I just like that option as
Okay,
as a
well,
coach.
all right, cool. Um, so anyways, we're also going to be looking at who performs as the number 3 wide receiver too. Benny Fowler's been having a great training camp, and I think he stepped up last year when we needed him. In the Super Bowl, he had that 2-point conversion catch. He's had a great year last year, and now I think this year is his time to show up. But Cody Latimer too. I mean, he was a second round pick a few years ago, and I think if he doesn't step it up this year, he could be on the chop block.
I had a lot of high hopes for Cody Latimer. I think he kind of had an off year last year. He looked good 2 years ago. This year I don't know. We'll see. You think he's gonna fall off?
I hope not. I hope not. I hope he, you know, comes out and plays really well. That way we have to keep him, but I could see him
Benny
Fowler.
blah 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 blah.
So
He's number two though right now on the depth chart.
who is
Benny and then Cody. Yeah.
Well, Benny's behind Demarius Thomas and Cody's behind Emmanuel
Yeah.
Sanders.
What that Jordan Taylor guy though?
And I think he's got what it takes to get on there.
He might in this game tomorrow. He might shine a little
I
bit.
want to see Devontae Booker too. I'm excited about him as a running back. I think he's going to be able to play really well in this system with Gary Kubiak has going in their zone scheme blocking system. So I'm going to be excited to watch him, what goes on in the quarterback race, as well as what's happening with the wide receivers
Well,
behind Demarius Thomas and Emmanuel
I think
Sanders.
the spotlight is definitely on the quarterbacks for our team for sure. It's always going to be the spotlight. But what about the line? Which quarterback is going to mesh well with the line?
Well, I think right now Sanchez and Simeon have been practicing with the front line, but was it uh, Schofield or Sambrello? He got hurt, so it will be interesting to see if he'll play this week. Um, but I think both of them. I think both of them will mesh fine with the line as far as that goes. But the line's very.
Schofield, I'm not a fan of, to be honest.
No, I know you guys weren't last year, but he got put in a tough position last year, and apparently he did good enough for us to win a Super Bowl. So that
I was talking with our own man about switching from the left side to the right side or vice versa. That is so different playing. That so they say, but I don't get it. I mean,
well,
I've
that's
never
one of the
played.
things
I've
that
never played that
and see that's
position.
one of those things you have to be able to be put in that position to understand the difference and the different reads that you have from the right side to the left side. So as far as being on the left side, you have to make sure that you are watching because that's the blind side. You for most quarterbacks, you got to watch to make sure that they're not trying to sneak anybody in behind while you're already being blocked or
Okay,
whatever.
I get that.
For the
I
right
mean,
sides, sometimes it's just depends on, I guess, the play as well, and you got to be able to read the defense.
okay, so there's obviously I understand there's a lot of mechanics going on, but I find it hard to believe that playing football as long as you haven't some implicate in some information about switching sides to be efficient at it,
Yeah.
especially at that level. And but we had this conversation saying that it is super difficult to switch sides like that on a tackle. But when play hockey and you switch sides, it's not that big of a deal. It's your hands are maybe different
Well,
because
we're
righty and
talking
a lefty,
different, yeah,
and it's a
different
different
game.
game. But it's it's kind of the same. It's different sides. Yeah, and they
So
see.
you favor one side or the other. That's how most people are. You either favor your left or you favor your right. And so if somebody's coming down on me on the right side and I want to keep them outside, I'm going to be used to keeping them outside on my right shoulder. Somebody's coming in on the left and I'm not. I'm used to keeping someone outside on my right or blocking with my right, and I make that extra step to kind of favor that side, and then he beats me inside and sacks the quarterback. There's a lot of difference that you have to
Yeah,
get into.
I don't know. I just think as more you're a more effective player
Well,
if you
absolutely.
can
If you
be
can do both,
flexible.
absolutely,
You know,
absolutely, no doubt
if
about
you
that.
can be J.J. Watt and throw in a tight end position. I
Yeah,
mean, that
yeah.
guy does it
Well,
all. Mr. J.J. freaking Watt,
yeah.
all time freaking football quarterback, punter, you name it. Tim Tebow should take lessons from that man.
Well, Tim Tebow's got his own hurdles now. He's going in to try to play baseball, so that'll be interesting to see. I
That's for
don't.
another show.
Yeah, but
That's
I.
for another show.
Okay, all right. Anyways, so speaking of great players, though, or great, Michael Phelps,
Yeah, we'll touch on the Olympics just a touch.
and I think what he's done as far as um, any athlete in any kind of sport is unbelievable. To have 24 medals in the Olympics, 21 golds, that's unreal. And to say that he's not the best Olympian ever is
Who's
a
saying that?
false statement. I said this yesterday. I was talking while I was at work, and I said he's the best Olympian ever. And they're like, no, you got this guy and this guy. I'm like, the guy's won 21 gold medals. How do you take that away from him? I don't care what sport it is, you know. If you're that good at what you do, you're going to be the best ever. The best Olympian swimmer ever, obviously, and arguably the best Olympian ever.
Michael Phelps looked like he was going down last Olympics in London. Granted, he jumped in with not much training. Still competed,
Yeah.
even, but now he's
I think
ready to
in London
go.
he was
He's
like,
got
okay, this is going to be my last go around, and I'm just going to, take it easy on the training, go in and do my thing, whatever, and then call it a career. Well, I think he got that competitive edge and came back. It's like, you know what? I want to finish out on what arguably is the strongest Olympic career ever, and I want to come back like full blown, ready to go. And I think he did that this year. I mean, he's
well, he
done
shouldn't be
things
done. I don't think he should be done. I don't think he can call it quits.
after this, but you got to think
He's a
another four
beast.
more years. Another 4 more years. He's 33 now.
He's not that old.
Yeah, he's 33 years old.
Is he?
Yeah.
Right.
So at 37, trying to keep up with 19-year-olds in the pool and maintaining your training regimen and all this. Now he's got a kid.
Greatest Olympian ever, hands down.
Hands down.
One, because he swims in so many events. He does so many different events. Other people may say that he is not, but those guys that have pretty much mastered their one event, their one sport,
Yeah.
Um,
And he's just got so he can swim anything.
yeah, I totally agree with you. Probably one of the best Olympians of all time,
If not the best.
His record will stand for a long, long time. Katie Ledecky actually might surpass it too.
She's doing a pretty good job. She's got a good start.
She's 13 for 13 on gold medals.
So, well, but that's
13 for 13.
that's international.
In her events.
So
Winning.
that's not Olympics.
No, but she's
up
got
there.
her
Yeah,
fair
she's got her
share
fair
this year.
share, and now she's trying to make that Olympic push too.
I don't think that there's any. Maybe Shaun White could be considered. Maybe. But Shaun White would be more. Not so much because he's only one event, 2 events maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's gonna be hard for anybody to come close to what Michael Phelps has done, and I just want to finish off by saying he's a great Olympian, and I'm glad I've got to watch him through my days. Also, since we are on a radio show, today was a sad day. John Saunders from ESPN, legendary anchor there, has passed away, and we want to send out our thoughts and prayers to his family and friends and everybody at ESPN as well that is having a rough time with this. So that is it from anybody who's having a rough time with it.
Rough time with it. I thought you said somebody.
No. So that is all I got to say today, and I appreciate you guys tuning in to Basement Floor Radio, and I'm Tilo signing off.
I'm Jake, and y'all have a good day.